Hey, Laptop Recruit family, how are we doing? I'm in the cap again, and I'm aware that doesn't suit branding, huh? We had a member come to us about 5 years ago, like a brand, absolute legend of a man, Don, and he'd been searching for a company like ours for a long time. He actually went through 50 different sort of assessments, tests of companies, and he found us. And he said, pretty much, where do I sign up? And we had a chat, and I said, slow the process down first of all, and then we sort of became friends. He said, listen, when I first saw you, Andy, it's like, I've seen pictures of you in your three-piece suit, and then I saw you in your gym stuff, and I thought, what's this bloke doing? He's in his gym stuff, teaching me about business, so excuse this, but hey, we're working home now, so let's not try and fake things, huh? So this video, 101, why you don't convert more clients. So first of all, just to give you a staple response to this, and it's the following. I don't know you. I don't know what you do to convert clients. So what I'm talking about is your business is essentially you bring leads in, client leads, candidate leads. Ideally they should match at the same time, number one. Then number two, you have a conversion piece, which is you convert the client or you convert the candidate. Then number three, you deliver the candidate and you get past your guarantee period, etc. That is your business. Removing all the complexity of it. Underneath leads breaks down to a number of steps. Underneath conversion, number of steps, etc., etc. Okay, so I'm talking about converting more based across these three elements. Okay, what I'm not talking about is, for example, the conversation you have with the client. So that fits under the conversion piece clearly. So let's say, for example, you've got 10 appointments booked with the client, and then 7 of the 10 happen, 3 don't happen, they don't turn up. Of the 7, you convert 1, 6 you don't convert. So you've got 1 out of 10 conversion there. So there's really 2 things you can do. Number 1, get more actually turn up for the call. So rather 7 out of 10 turn up for the call, 10 out of 10 turn up for the call. And number 2, rather than convert 1 out of 7, you convert 7 out of 7. So there's a number of different things there. 1 is get more turn up, and number 2 is you've got a better process to convert, and that will probably include better setup. So when I'm talking about how to convert more, I'm not saying this is the script for converting clients or candidates. I'm talking about a helicopter view and understanding this as a bigger picture. And yes, we got modules and we got scripts for these things, but it's understanding the concept about you want to get paid more. So let's say if we keep our number consistently, let's say you want to be doing 1 million and you're a one-person business. Now you might be doing more than that, absolutely fine. Let's say you want to do 1 million, make it nice and simple for my maths. I'm talking about why don't you convert more clients, or start with the end in mind, how do we convert more clients? So our outcome, we want you to be the no-brainer option. You want to be the no-brainer option to your clients. So when you get to that point where you become the no-brainer option for your clients, number 1, you get retained business. Number 2, your fees go up. Number 3, you can say bye-bye to the people who don't respect you and the crap. You don't have to take that shit. When I started this business, I left an extremely well-paying corporate business at the top of my best mate. I'm either really, really dumb or really, really brave. But I want to enjoy what I'm doing. Same with your business. You don't want to work with clients who are taking the piss out of you. Of course you don't. So you want to be a no-brainer option. You want to be getting paid more. You probably want to be retained. So you know that you're actually getting paid for the effort you make. Now, if you've got a very systemized, automated process, you can make a lot of money from contingent. But most businesses I know, which are one-person businesses, it's more leverageable to focus on getting retained business rather than creating an absolutely systemized, automated beast and get a contingent model whereby you put volume through. Now, of course, you're in temp contract space, you're going to need to do that. But I'm talking about really no-brainer option, getting higher fees. Now, of course, when you get that first role with a new client, you've got to deliver. So part of this is you're going into a market to get more clients. Now, you might be in that market now 10 years, you might be in it 10 minutes, I don't know. However, this is what you must always understand. It's like with retained business. Right now, I'm in the process of creating a three module trainings for my members. And we did week 1 last week, and week 2 is this week. And then week 3, I'm actually going to give them the slides. I have a slide deck done so they can pitch, so they can actually pitch. So they bring together week 2, week 3, week 1 and week 2 rather. They fill in the gaps in the worksheets that I've given them. And then I'm going to give them on week 3, going to give them the actual slide deck, and also give them the objections they're going to get on that call or on that appointment. which should be fewer because the objections you bring further down the stream, which I won't go through right now. But the point is this: when you get retained business, you always need to remember you've got the client, you've got the client themselves, and you've got the consultant. So we often focus about pitching our services. Now, we don't actually want to do that. We don't want to sell our services. We want them to be bought. So in my business, when I came into the entrepreneurial world, and I've had many businesses, I personally fucking, and I'm going to say that word on purpose, fucking hate doing any cold stuff or whatever it might be. Now, there's a time and a place for these things. One piece of advice I was given years ago by a mentor of mine was, if you can genuinely change someone's life, it's your duty to follow up on those who you believe you can help. Same principle with you. If you know you can genuinely help a client, it's your duty to follow up. Now, we want to make your life easier. So with retained business, your retained services are bought. You don't sell them, they are bought. Now, we're not going through retain now. What we're going through is understanding the concept about converting more clients. So often what we do is we say, right, we've been in recruitment 10 years and we're different because, and I've heard that phrase, we're different because, literally thousands of times. I've personally coached over 1,000 companies, as in hands-on. I've spoken to thousands over the years, and I've heard we are different because probably 75% of the time. And I used to be a bit softer with it, but now I just say, no, you're not different. There's no point wasting time. You're here to hear it as it is. You're not different. And if we can just accept that, fine. But we want to be different. Now, this is how you do it. So if you want to have the highest fees in the niche and you want to be retained, you want to be the no-brainer, do you agree you cannot be doing the same as everyone else? Yes? You agree? So the first thing to understand is this: your client has got 3 other options. Number 1, he has got other recruitment search businesses they can use. So they've got, everyone is cold calling them, all the shit they get in their inbox, etc. So we've got other recruitment search businesses. Now they're going to be inundated from every angle you can imagine. Okay? You need to know that. That's number 1. Number 2, whether they are a one-man business themselves or they are a £30 billion a year corporate, they have got some form of internal recruitment. So they're going to have either HR, they're going to have talent acquisition, or I'll do it myself. So you need to be aware they've got options of HR, depending on what level you're dealing at, talent acquisition, or we do it ourselves. And we've got modules called HR Maximizer, and we've got some new ones now behind it. And what you cannot do is, when you go to a corporate especially, or as you move up the ladder, is with your client attainment system, you need to have the frame that it's not their fault. Because what will happen is you'll go to the line manager to get that role, normally. The line manager will then forward your communication to HR. So Steve in HR says, no, these guys are full of shit, because he won't like what he's read. So what you've got to do with your communication to your line manager is you need to take on board, he's got the option of HR. But you need to make it clear, it's not HR's fault. How can they deliver this role? They haven't got the tools. They haven't got the fundamentals. They don't have the 24/7, 365 inbound system that you've got. So what you need to do is you need to partner up with HR, even before you even speak to them. So you might speak to the line manager. But the line manager is going to send it to HR to be signed off. So you need to, under the radar, partner up with HR in that first communication. So you need to know option number 1, other recruitment businesses. Number 2, some form of internal recruitment, I'll do it myself. And number 3, they've got a preferred suppliers list. So depending on where you are in the world, what niche you're in, a preferred suppliers list has different terms in different areas and different niches, but effectively it's this. We have to use these 6 companies. We've been told, hey, Andy, thanks for the communication. That candidate is exactly what I need. However, we need to use these 8 companies, these 6 companies. So either be a no, or I recommend you speak to Steve in HR. So you need to be aware they might have to go through these 6 companies. And it might be a formal approach, which goes through these guys, or it might be informal, and it might be, hey, Andy, we've always used Steve down the street. No, he's always been pretty good. So yeah, we've always used Steve. It's just easier for us. So your client, no matter if you're dealing with the highest level NASDAQ company, but you're dealing with a San Fran startup, other recruitment businesses, internal recruitment, a preferred suppliers list. They've got those options. Now you need to take them on the chin right from the start. So you need to understand they've got those options. Now if you don't take it head on in the conversion process, both at leads, conversion, at this point delivery less so, if you don't take it on at that point, then it's the unspoken objection. So you need to know that they're there. So what you need to do is this. We've got you, our hero, over here. You. Now, the biggest problem I see in recruitment businesses, search businesses, is we are different because you are not different. There's nothing you told me about you are different. I've heard the same thing in the same niche 1,000 times. You are not different. So what we need to do is we need to stretch the gap. Stretch the gap. So on here, we've got the options they've got, and then we've got you. Now in the middle here, this gap, the way that I explain this, when someone joins our top level mastermind, and I run through a game plan with them, I explain the methodology here as the following. Imagine that you're, so for my United States friends, imagine that you're on the halfway line of the NFL, so the Super Bowl. You walk in at half time, you've got middle of the pitch, haven't you? On the left hand side, you've got one set of fans. Right hand side, another set of fans, yeah? Got this massive gap in the middle called the field. Yeah? And the fans are not allowed on the field. You want to think about this. You want your client to see you being so different. You're over here, and their other options are over here. There's no mishmash. There's no, we do the same things or we do some of the same things. No. That gap, this needs to be a massive, we do not step on the field. So what will happen, it will polarize them. And polarizing is something that I've learned to accept. I've been over the years, and I personally don't Google my name or anything in that way, but I've been told, Andy, you're Marmite. People either love you because you're direct and you swear too much, and people really like it because you say how it is. Other people don't like it because it might offend them, and that's not my intention. It's done out of passion. But you've got to be true to your word and true to what you are. Now, your clients being true to their outcome is to get the best candidate, and they don't care who does it. They want the best candidate. Also, what they don't want, which fits into retain, is they don't really want to be dealing with contingent companies. They don't really want to be doing that. If it's a line manager anyway, they ain't got the time. They want one partner. So we need to be absolutely different from these guys. So we need to stretch the gap. This is what everyone else does. This is what we do. And the way we make it an absolute no-brainer is we use binary variables. So we use metrics. So recruitment businesses in this niche have the following. Could be database coverage, could be response rate, could be use LinkedIn and get these numbers. Internal recruitment in a company of your size typically is set up in this fashion. They have a LinkedIn strategy that on average gets a 6.2% response rate from LinkedIn emails. Now consider that across 30 internal recruitment members of staff, with the average of sending out 100 emails per week. Means what you get is the following. So essentially, when you get 6 CVs, you get the first 6 CVs, not the top 6 from the top 5%. It's not their fault though. How can talent acquisition be expected to perform and get the top 2% of candidates when they haven't got the tools? It's not their fault. It's also not the business's fault. They're there to make cars, and over the years things evolve. Our job is to provide the best talent into the automotive industry, which is why we're the only company to have a 24/7, 365 inbound system that covers 97.2% of the marketplace with these metrics. So what you're doing is you're stretching the gap. Now what you've got to do is back it up. So everyone who joins any of our programs, you go through a set of foundational steps. And the foundational steps allow you, and this is simple stuff by the way, but the metrics you talk about here, you've got it here. So back it up. So the reason why you're not converting enough is essentially you're becoming just one of many. And then it might come down to old school relationships. It might come down to perception. It might come down to you just got lucky. But we want predictability. So we want to view this gap in the middle as the NFL, or in the UK, it'd be the Wembley Stadium. In Australia, guys, it'd be, what would it be? I forgot. Anyway, but we don't want to be on the pitch. You're here, they're here. So it's polarizing. But when we actually lay it out, it becomes a no-brainer. And we do this with what we call a client attainment system, a 𝐂𝐫𝐮𝐬𝐡. And we've got a 𝐂𝐫𝐮𝐬𝐡. Now what I'm doing as we speak now, we're in week 2. We've got a 𝐂𝐫𝐮𝐬𝐡 plus retained pitch deck, which means that they will buy, you're not selling. So the reason why you're not converting more is because you probably mismatch into what everyone else does. And I know this now because I've been through this thousands and thousands of times. Our 𝐂𝐫𝐮𝐬𝐡, our client attainment system, which starts off as a simple document, then into a video, then an automated webinar, that's brought in tens of millions of dollars, pounds worth of business. But what it does, it overcomes the objections of, we've got other recruitment businesses. It overcomes the objections of, we've got internal recruitment, HR, we've got talent acquisition. It overcomes, we do it ourselves. It overcomes, we've got a preferred suppliers list, or we use Steve down the street. So you want to make sure that you're desired. And the further you get up the conversion chain, i.e. appointments, etc., you want all this overcome. You do that with the 𝐂𝐫𝐮𝐬𝐡. You don't want to get on a call and get objections of, we've got these 3 things. So you're not converting more is because you're not being brave enough to stretch the gap. You might not know how to do it. If you do want to know how to do it, then by all means, reach out to me, send me a message. Ideally, send it on Facebook or LinkedIn. But the reason why we're not converting more is because we're all doing the same thing. And in this last year, it's become like the wild, wild west. I said this on a previous video. You know, when I got into recruitment over a decade ago, I was blown away how backward it was. Then, as an industry, it's really progressed massively. But this last year, I think it's regressed again. There's just been so much crap put out, which means everyone's looking at doing 1,000 things, and it's like, no. If you didn't watch the previous video, the LinkedIn video and the automation video, watch those two. Watch those two. If you're not in the Laptop Recruiter Facebook group, go to that group and you'll find them in there, okay? Because this is a lot simpler than you think it is. So remember the last video I said about message market mechanism. Mechanism is the automation you use. This is about the message that you use and make sure it fits the market. Now, if you're using automation or one-to-many, it means your message is going out to hundreds, thousands of people. So if you get this bit wrong, all you're doing is fucking up your brand and fast-tracking failure. Now, if you get this right, you're on point. And one final thing, we've not done a live event now. We usually do 3 live events per year with our members, and they fly in from around the world. It's normally at the Grand Connaught Rooms in London. Nice swanky place. And day 1 is strategies. Day 2 is we set up the plan for the next 120 days. And we have a panel. So we choose 3 or 4 members who've done something in that year which would be of use, or in that 4-month period that would be specific to that event, for example. And I think it's the second to last event we did, the panel consisted of 2 members who 5x their business in a year and 1 who 10x their business in 2 years. Now, what's interesting is this: all of them always went back to understanding their client. They went back to basic principles. And the first member basically used RRR, the 𝐂𝐫𝐮𝐬𝐡, and then online vault strategy. That was it, really 3 core strategies. The second member used primarily LinkedIn and a messaging strategy, and then a webinar authority strategy. The third member used, well, in fact, they did some pretty cool stuff. For example, he took his inbox management from spending 2-3 hours a day in it into 0 per day in it. Then using a message bank, he's inside 10 minutes a day. He actually did some pretty epic things. It's now a massive name in his niche as well. So he used authority strategies, but also he was, he was an animal, hell of a man. So principle is this: converting more is actually simpler, and it's just understanding you're so different. You're so different. You You know, I don't know you, and you may be scared of being different. You may be conditioned from the market. I don't know. But the reality is, all we're doing is saying, Mr. Client, you've got 3 options. Now, these are the plus and minuses of these options. Now, this is what we do. These are the metrics behind what we do. Now, this is the difference of what it means to you, Mr. Client. Number 1 option compared to us. Number 2 option, etc. Now, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. Now, we can help HR, etc. Let's set up a ignition call with you, Mr. Line Manager, and the HR person, so I can help HR understand their needs, understand their constraints, and we can work together as a three-sided partnership here. We've done this numerous times. Here's our case study, and then we've got a module for the case study. So you see how it fits. Now, when you've got it set up once, you rinse and repeat it. But the reason why you're not converting more is because you're doing the same as everyone else. That's the high level. So guys, with that said, Laptop Recruiter group inside Facebook, come and join us there. Connect with me on LinkedIn, say hi. If you want help and you're ready to move forward now, reach out to me. If you're wanting to know more, go to our website, recruitmentmarketinginternational.com, click on webinars, you'll find some previous webinars. They will look live, but just going to be hands up now, they're now automated. Head to iTunes, Laptop Recruiter. We're usually number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. inside the niche. There's 130 odd podcasts on there. But reach out to me. Any specific questions, reach out to me. This isn't as difficult. Recruitment or search isn't as difficult as it is. We make it out. 50 placements for 20k, 20 placements for 50k. Contract. How many placements do we need? What's the churn rate? What are those numbers? How do we make it happen? What about if we can get 20 roles per client as opposed to 5 roles per client? It comes down to some base principles, but converting more is pivotal. Stretch the gap. Guys, with that said, I will see you inside the Laptop Recruiter group, and let me know your thoughts. Speak soon.